This here is Aitana. She is an Instagram influencer, and every month she is earning around 11,000 US dollars from posting her photos from her aesthetic apartment in Barcelona. Except she's actually not. It turns out that she is completely and utterly fake. Yep, she is an AI generated model, and in this Forbes article, her creators revealed that they are earning $11,000 per month by generating and posting these fake photos. And well, recently, YouTube kept recommending to me this viral tutorial video from the channel Fireship. In it, they shared a step-by-step tutorial on how to copy Aitana to make your own photos and how to create your own AI generated influencer to make money too, all for free. Yes, for free. So I got curious and I decided to set myself a challenge to see if I could create my own AI generated influencer and if I could actually make any money from it. Alright, it is day one of our experiment, and I have a big challenge to overcome today. You see, my favorite AI art generator is Midjourney, followed closely by DALL-E. But for this experiment, if I want to generate my own AI influencer, I can't use either of those apps to generate my photos for me for 3 reasons. The first being that both of these apps are actually pretty bad at creating consistent characters. Our AI generated model has to look similar in all of our photos like Aitana does. If she doesn't, then no one would ever think that she was real. And secondly, both of these generators censor images a lot. And for better or for worse, however you feel about it, looking at Aitana's Instagram, it's pretty apparent that the pictures where she is dressed in less clothes tend to go the most viral. And if we try to make photos like that in a traditional AI art generator, then chances are we'll get censored really fast. And thirdly, both of those apps are not free. Yep, sadly, they cost money. And so we're gonna have to go off the grid for this one and install an open source AI art generator, which is Stable Diffusion XL. And the crazy thing is that the images that it makes are just as good as paid apps out there, but unlike those apps, it is 100% free. Seriously, it's pretty crazy. But unlike Midjourney and DALL-E, I have to actually figure out how to install this thing on my computer. And it turns out that there's actually lots of different versions of it that you can install, but the one that Fireship's tutorial video recommended was Focus, which is an AI image generator using Stable Diffusion that is specialized in creating realistic photos. And installing it is surprisingly easy. Just come to the GitHub installation page. I'll have a link to this in the video description. Then you just click on versions and you can come and open up version 2, and then you can click and install it on your computer. Just a warning though, it's nearly 2 gigabytes, so it's a pretty big file. Once it's installed, you then need to unzip the file. Because it's so big, currently over 5 gigabytes, this also took me a few minutes. Then once that's done, you just open up the folder and you can click which version of Focus you want to run, which will come with different presets. For me, since I'm going to be creating real life looking photos, I'm going to pick the realistic version of Focus. Now, just a warning though, when you do, if you're on a PC like me, Windows will probably alert you that it doesn't recognize it. Luckily though, you can just skip and bypass that and run it anyway. When you do, Windows will then automatically start running this script for you, which will install all of the files. I just stopped using my computer during this process and didn't touch it. It was a huge amount of files, about 6 gigabytes, so it took a while, but once it was finished, Focus automatically opened up in my internet browser, and I was honestly pretty shocked. Alright, so no exaggeration here, I had set aside the entire day to figure out how on earth to install this thing, because I'm not a programmer, I don't know how to code anything, but even I managed to figure out how to install this thing in less than an hour. I'm honestly genuinely amazed. And it turned out that Focus worked pretty much exactly like how Fireship's YouTube tutorial said it would. It lets you tweak your exact settings and choose the exact styles that you want your image to look like, and you can combine different image styles together to get exactly what you want. So to see how good it was at creating consistent styles, I decided to run a test. I watched Fireship's tutorial to see what settings and prompts that they used, and then I used their exact same settings and I used their exact same prompt, and then I let Focus do its magic and generate images for me. And I quickly discovered the downside of using Stable Diffusion over paying for Midjourney or DALL-E. Okay, so honestly, no exaggeration again, but it has been over 5 minutes. and it's still generating images for me. It's not even close to being done. If I was generating a photo in Midjourney or DALL-E, it would honestly take less than 30 seconds. And to be fair, if I was working with a more powerful computer, this would probably be faster. My laptop, while great, isn't exactly a gaming laptop. It's a Dell 2022 XPS. So that is definitely something to keep in mind if you choose to generate free AI art images with an open source image generator. In total, it took an incredible 9 minutes and 41 seconds for it to generate 2 images for me, but the quality of those images was absolutely insane. And look how consistent it is. Without even using a reference image, my influencer looks pretty similar to 5Ship's influencer that they generated. And here's a quick tip. To access the images that you generate, open up the focus folder that you unzipped and then open up the output folder. The images that you generate will be automatically downloaded here. And so now what you can do is you can take one of the images and then use that as a reference image, click on image prompt and then upload your image, and then click advanced and select for the image to be face swapped. Now you can come and type in any prompt that you want to create and it'll generate a new image for you using the photo that you created as a reference. And to my astonishment, it genuinely worked. If I'm honest, the technology both amazed me and it terrified me at the same time. So with that, I think I might call it for today. I'm pretty happy with how this experiment is going so far, and the 5Ship tutorial, it turns out, actually works. I was able to generate Aitana, so I'm pretty happy with that. But that was only one part, remember, of our experiment. I now have to use this technology to make my own influencer, and then I have to use that influencer to try and actually make some money. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. All right, so I'm back and it's time for day 2 of our AI influencer experiment. Today my goal is to actually build our AI influencer and to generate the pictures for our new Instagram account. And so last night I browsed Instagram for inspiration and I discovered that there were lots of AI influencers and models that were very successful, not just Aitana. The most successful one that I personally found was I'm Alice. She has over 500,000 followers. All of her posts get thousands and thousands of likes and engagement. It was pretty insane how popular this account was. I can only imagine how much money the creators of this are actually making. But honestly, I could not find a single AI influencer that has red hair, and I think that red hair is amazing. So I decided to generate my influencer to have beautiful red hair. So to get started, I needed to first create a portrait. In total, it took me 8 minutes and 41 seconds to generate this. The results though were of course astonishing. I did notice that our model sort of looked like she was in her early 20s, whereas a lot of the newer and upcoming AI models looked like they could be college aged. So I modified the prompt a bit, and this time it took even longer. It took 20 minutes and 52 seconds. But the results were crazy. She looked so real. We had created the face for our AI model. And so now I then just put her face as a reference photo and I used the face swap option. And then I went and created more photos and Focus generated them for me, all while using her facial features. Again, the technology just astounded me. However, if I'm honest, as astonishing as it is, it could also be incredibly frustrating. It was very slow for 2 reasons. The first is that each image took 5 to 10 minutes to generate. But the second reason was that lots of the photos were honestly unusable unless you had Photoshop skills to fix them. For example, take this photo. Look at the hand. That could be in a horror movie. Okay, so spending 10 minutes to generate just one photo that can be completely useless is absolutely exhausting. In saying that though, I've also noticed that some of the popular AI influencers are just using photos that have really messed up features. Like, check out this photo from I'm Alice. Clearly, thousands of people didn't even care that her hand looks like, well, that. So maybe I'm being too picky. Who knows? But while dedicated to seeing through the experiment, I spent all day and all night on it, and thankfully I did finally get enough photos so that I had enough content to run our experiment. Alright, it's day 3. We have our AI influencer, we have our photos. Thank goodness that that part of the experiment is over. It's now time to set up the Instagram page so that we can actually try and make some money. So first up, I had to come up with a name for her. Now, not being very creative myself, I decided to ask ChatGPT to help me come up with some first names, and with that, Alexis Ray was born. So I created a simple Instagram page for her, and within 2 minutes, she already had 3 followers. Next up, I had to post content. I noticed that a lot of the AI influencers wouldn't just post photos, they'd also post Reels videos featuring photo montages, like this one from iMalice. So here's what I did. I took some photos of Alexis that I generated wearing different colors of sundresses, and I put each photo into Focus's free upscaler tool, which, by the way, I'm just astounded is available for free, because 2 years ago, you would have had to pay a lot of money for something like this. Then I put each photo into Canva's free video editor, and I used Canva's AI image enhancer tool to make the image more vibrant. Then I also add in a photo zoom animation to each of the photos, and I also add in a transition, and I picked the mix and match transition for my transition effect. By doing that, I was able to quickly create this simple little video photo montage of Alexis here, and then I uploaded it onto Instagram Reels. And I just picked a trendy song from Instagram to go with it, and with that, I created my first piece of content. Okay, so here is the deal, right? I have to create this video here for YouTube in 4 weeks, which includes the editing time as well. So what I'll do is I'll post content on Alexis's profile for the next 3 weeks, and then we'll circle back around and we'll see how many likes and followers I get, and most importantly, how much money I actually make. Alright, so the experiment is over, and it was actually really interesting, because by doing this experiment I learned that yes, indeed, AI influencers are making a lot of money. But unlike what this Forbes article tries to pretend, it isn't for sponsorships. Instead, it's by selling, shall we say, to keep this video advertiser friendly, adult pictures. For example, take the AI influencer Doja Spice, who actually gained a lot of followers while I was filming this. The creators have set up a Patreon. It currently has 350 members, and it also has 3 membership tiers, although let's be honest, almost nobody will be picking tier 1, and practically everybody will be picking tier 2 and tier 3, which gets you access to the not safe for work pictures. I scrolled through, and it looks like the creators post about 1 to 3 pictures per day. And I'll tell you what, for better or for worse, it is super easy to generate these. And I know this because at one point Focus just outright generated for me this one, even though I didn't ask for it, nor did I want it. But yes, with that in mind, how much money did I make as somebody who was not selling these sorts of pictures? Well, I certainly did not get rich. I only managed to get 35 followers. And I got a grand total of 0 sponsorship DMs, but did get a few from AI influencer promotion services asking me to buy their shoutouts, which from what I've seen seems to be how most of these accounts actually grow, not from getting organic reach. So for many reasons, I have 0 interest in pursuing this any further. But this experiment still blew my mind because it showed me just how many insane AI tools are out there that are completely free. Yep. So then, if you'd like to learn about other AI side hustles, be sure to watch my next video here on screen, and I'll see you in the next video.